Hello, this is Tim Law with Plan It Forward Coaching and Self-Reliance U. Please take a minute and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Plan It Forward Coaching. It'd be very much appreciated. I have with me a guest today, probably a young man that I've known since seventh grade, eighth grade. His dad and I are very strong acquaintances, if not beyond that, as far as strong friends, which I believe we are. Anyway, this young man was an integral part of football, basketball, volleyball at Northeastern High School, and he definitely is one of these guys that is a total team player. So I'd like to welcome Nate Eyster to this. And Nate, tell us about yourself a little bit, what you're doing, what you've learned, whatever direction you want to go here, my man.
Well, it's good to see you, Coach. As you know, I'm currently a student at Penn State, Maine. I'm a junior. I currently do not play any sports anymore. I haven't played sports since high school, but I still think about the past and talk to the guys once in a while about everything. But I'm currently studying security and risk analysis up here at Penn State, and I'm minoring in supply chain management. And I'm just focused right now in a thon because it's this weekend. So I'll be celebrating that with some friends. With COVID distancing and all that, so we'll be safe. But I'm just enjoying college and getting through everything.
Great, fantastic. And Nate, what would be some of the tips or ideas that you might give to juniors and seniors that are going on to school, as far as whether it's a strategy or ideas, things that you think would be helpful for them?
Well, in high school, I was, one of the top students in the class, but it didn't take a lot of effort. I didn't really study much for my classes or, prepare before exams. And the first exam I had up in college was a wake up. I think that's going to be a common thing for most students. So I think after that, it was a major wake up call, and I had to study more and prepare. So, it kind of, my advice would be, if you want to, you get out what you put into it. So whatever effort you put into your studies is what you're going to get out of it. So it's best to get out there, do anything you can, join clubs to focus on your major or anything really to help you better prepare yourself for the real world, because that is the end goal in all this.
Sure. Well, and I've always said for years to kids that are going off into college, and I can still remember this. I was in college, obviously, well before you, well before your dad, for that matter. Anyway, one of the things that I noticed, I was in a sociology class. It was my freshman year. There were probably 300 people in this room. And I'm looking around, and what's different? Nobody was messing around. I mean, it was like, they were there, they were, reasonably serious or whatever. There might have been a little quiet conversation going on, but they were taking care of business. And the one thing that I say to students that go on to school, hey, newsflash, just exactly what you said. You're going to be with a lot of the mental greyhounds, okay? And what you're able to do or not do when you're in high school, not going to cut it as far as college is concerned. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying there, Nate.
Yeah, and I would also add too, like, you're going to question yourself early on, because I remember too, like my first class, in high school, teachers hold your hand through everything. In college, you got to go on your own and you can't question yourself. Like I missed an entire first class without taking a single note, and I was like, oh shoot, I should have been writing notes down this entire time. But it wasn't just me, it was everybody too, because they didn't realize what was going on. So like, you just gotta go with your gut, but you're gonna be on your own in college, so you need to be prepared for that too, because I don't think most students really are once they get into college.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I've always said to any kids going off to school that the first 3 weeks is kind of lining up, who you're going to hang out with socially and that type of thing. And I always say to the incoming freshmen, don't hang around with the other freshmen, because some of they aren't going to be there second semester. Find the juniors and seniors, because they've successfully navigated through a couple of years of school. That's who you want to hang with. You don't want to hang around with the freshmen who are, basically the blind leading the blind. And then the other thing that I always say to them, get through that first semester academically. And once you do that, you're rolling, so again, it ties in exactly what you're saying, Nate, for sure. So Some of the great memories you have as far as school and sports, and how sports actually help you, um, as far as your college, what you're looking to do for a career, that kind of thing. Can you discuss some of those?
Well, one of the things that comes to mind right away too is just the being able to manage my time. I think that, in high school, you really do put a lot of time into sports, so you have to juggle sports, activities in the classroom. And also, I was also in some clubs in high school too. So I had to juggle a lot of things at the same time. But once you get out of high school and you don't play a sport anymore, you still have that mechanic of managing your time and being aware and focusing on what matters. So that's something that really did help me from high school when I played sports, but also just being competitive too. Like I'm always going to compete in no matter what subject is for the classroom or just in general too. I'm always going to have the competitive edge thanks to, my coaches and the experiences I've had playing with my teammates and against other kids in high school too.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. One of the things that, and I've said this with a number of different people, being involved with sports, band, music, extracurricular, school plays, during this whole challenging COVID scenario, it's almost like we that have been involved with sports. I was a competitive wrestler for 17 years. It gives you almost like a little bit of a suit of armor emotionally, because this COVID thing has been tough. There's no question about it. But the idea that we've been through the ups and downs of sports or other activities makes us, that much better able to kind of adapt to this very challenging past year for sure.
I can definitely agree with that because, I'm sure you've probably gotten yelled at by a coach before. I've got yelled at by my coach and my dad a lot when I played. And that, that kind of helped me better myself mentally and, physically too, but mainly mentally. So sports has definitely helped me deal with what's going on right now, I would say, and hopefully for anybody.
Sure. Do you have any particular favorite memories of when you were, playing basketball there with Fred and Antonio and Hamilton and that crew? Any particular favorite memory that kind of took place there?
My favorite one, I always didn't score much, so like I never scored over 10 points ever in a high school game. And when I did for the first and only time, I scored it in a state playoff game, first round of senior year. Right when I got to the bench, everybody was around me and, patting me on the back. And it was just a great moment to, I got to share with them and I really showed how much they cared about me and it really felt great. But to go play that same game, Fred did a no look behind the back pass like that right to me and it got a layup and it was an amazing, pass. It was crazy that I was lucky. I mean, when you in your interview with Fred, you talked about if you're not ready, the ball's gonna hit you in the face. that would have happened to me if I wasn't ready. But luckily I was, and Freddie got me a nice little bucket. And I always enjoyed just setting screens for Tony and DJ and Nate and helping them get buckets. That's stuff that I always will remember doing, just making them look good and having fun playing with them.
Sure. Well, and certainly not to override, because as I said, my sports were others, but I've always felt as far as basketball, the stuff you did as far as taking charges, and probably the most important thing in my view with basketball is controlling the ball with a rebound. You control the ball with a rebound, then you set the pace. Obviously, you've got to put it in the hole and everything. But yeah, it was funny because I'm glad you brought that up with Fred, because it was like, that was the thing about those two. And yourself as well, as you guys' vision. And again, it wasn't 180, it was like 270. It was insane. And like you said, if you weren't watching for Fred or Antonio, all of a sudden, like I said, you'd be hitting having that Wilson tattooed to your forehead because all of a sudden he brings it and you weren't looking.
You gotta keep your head on swivel when you play with them. That was probably those two guys were probably the best teammates I ever got to play with. All those guys, really, they were a great group of kids. So.
Yeah, totally agree. And what was so cool about that 2-year run of your junior and senior year was the and I loved it. And I said it to so many people. I said, there's two cancers on any team. One is selfishness. The other one's laziness. And you guys were neither. You guys were unselfish and you worked hard. And that unselfishness really, really stood out because there were some of those tough games, Central and some of those where, you needed every bit of, the energy and drive and unselfishness, get the ball to the guy that had the easiest basket, that kind of thing, and you guys brought that in abundance. It was just wonderful to watch. I really, really liked it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that selfishness came from. I think it was just, we found a good group of kids. Like everybody in there, everyone I played with were good people, and they didn't have a selfish bone in their bodies because at the end of the day, I think we all wanted the same thing, and that was to win.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped us, be different from teams that we played against too. So I don't know, but
I definitely agree with you, and just the idea that being unselfish, and you guys just had a great harmony. You had a great chemistry. You had Fred's younger brother Quay. I mean, he's leading the dance that you guys would do, and I still remember them because you tend to be one of the more shy guys, and they're trying to throw you in the middle and get you to dance. And I watched you cut the rug and light it up pretty good there, Nathan. You did okay for a guy that didn't like to be in that situation.
Yeah, I remember that too, and I think that was either a junior or senior year when we won counties. But
yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing, but they made me feel like I knew what I was doing. So but yeah.
Those guys wouldn't care if you had two left feet as long as you were out there doing what you could, and ironically, with Thon and everything you got going on at Penn State, I'm sure you can blow Fred or Antonio away as far as the dance moves now.
I definitely could, probably. Yeah, you think about that. I don't know if they could keep up with me, compared to what I had to go through. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So definitely a good thing you have going on there.
Yeah, that's one thing I am better than them at, I guess, is I am better than them at dancing, but not basketball. So it's okay.
Hey, you knew what your role and your niche was, and you need every one of those niches and roles is very, very important on a team sport. That's for sure. No question.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Any other advice, Nate, for, upcoming juniors and seniors, whether it has to do with career or college, anything like that you would add to, what you're already saying?
My advice would be just to get out there and do anything and do everything, because nothing's going to happen unless you do it. I had to put in the work to earn an internship. I had to put in the work to do good in my classes, and no one's going to force you or push you to do that. I mean, luckily I had my dad and my mom, they were good guides in helping me, strive and be better in college and to go out there and do things. Like, I'm in multiple clubs now because of them. Because when I first got into college, they were the ones who told me to get out there and just have fun and do anything you can do. So, there's nothing wrong with going out there and making yourself look like a fool, because I've done that before, joining clubs I didn't know what I was doing in, but I made friends, so I networked too. I watched presentations for my major, and I've met professors, so it's best just to get out there and do anything and do everything you can once you get to college. So that's would be my advice to anyone going into college right now.
And I love to add to that, Nate, because all of us have a certain level of a comfort zone. Okay. And if we stay in that comfort zone and refuse to, step out and do some of the things you're describing, we never advance, we never grow. And it's so important to, I'm not saying step right out into an MMA fight match or something like that without any kind of training. That would be insane. But just the idea that you get out there, you network, you meet people, that type of thing. Because I remember what is very cool about, guys like you and Fred and Antonio and so many other kids that I've had, is I meet you guys in middle school, because I do a lot of subbing up there in the middle and the high, and to see these almost shy little boys that you guys were at that point blossom into men. I mean, and just you can become much more outgoing. I think of Alex Raymond, what he's doing, because he did one of the interviews as well a couple weeks ago. But it's so cool to see that growth, with all you guys. I really, really think that. And when you push through those comfort zones, you do achieve that. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Coach. I would. It's all thanks to everybody, like all the people that mentored us and pushed us to do better and be better people. I would say so.
Mhm, mhm. Good, good. Well, this has been great. Nathan, any last second thoughts or anything like that that you want to add here that you can think of?
I just want to give a shout out to you for asking me to do this. I also want to, give a shout out to my teammates that I played with in high school. You can help make one of the best experiences I ever had in my life. Getting all the way to state finals and getting all the way to districts and winning that was one of the greatest experiences I ever had. And experiencing with those group guys was a blessing. So that's all I have to add to that, Coach. But it was good talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Hang on, Nate. When I get done with the recording here, we'll chat for a minute or two, okay? So
Okay.
just stay put here, okay?
Yep.
And this has been a great interview with Nate Eyster. And anyway, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. It'd be much appreciated. And thanks again, Nate. Appreciate you.
You too, Coach. Thank you.